down, 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 down. I saw John Wick 3. What? Okay, I don't look like that ridiculous. I do, but I'm good though. Like, okay, so I went on another Mezco date, which I've been waiting for like a long time. I was actually working on another review that I was gonna do, and then I just threw them to the side. That was actually Endgame. Endgame got pushed to the side as a movie review, so I could do John Wick. So John Wick, turns out part 3 is actually about the fact that he gets a cat. And they kill the cat too. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I had so much fun, and I'm gonna go through all the elements of why I really did enjoy that film. I mean, I really enjoyed it. Like, the kind of like enjoyment where you just sit there like you don't even say nothing, you're just like that kind of thing. So, one of the things I do want to talk about what I enjoyed the most about the film is number 1 on the acting. Everyone did an excellent job. So when I say excellent job, I don't mean like I'm just saying it because they're like, oh my god, you're my favorite. It's not that. The characters were, it was literally like go big or go home, and they went big. To me, that was the best part about it. They just went big, but it didn't come off silly. That was the best part. Like, everyone was on point. Your side characters, your lead characters, your support characters, your background actors, everyone did their job. Like, and that's what sold it and made it so like absolutely like enriching and like wonderful. So that's for 1. 2, I love how the plot thickens. Like, I'm serious. It was like really cool how they so the movie starts, they continue it from that hour that John gets from his good old buddy, and they start to kind of just crack down on the things that are about to happen. So, truth be told, when I went to go see it, I didn't watch the trailer because I've decided on this trend where I don't really want to watch trailers too much, because I feel like I'm either seeing too much or I'm seeing like pre-reviews or critic, like, I don't want to hear about that. I want to see the movie, decide for myself, see if I like it. It's just that simple. Like, I'm not a critic, I just love movies. Other thing that I want to talk about, the fight choreographer. The love of my life. I need you in my film when dynamic is out there. I'm serious. Like, I need you there because the continuity, the fight scenes, and the sound engineer who made all the visual effects like that much more realistic, you guys are the perfect couple for any action film. I'm not even kidding. Everything about the fight scenes was super intense, right? So John has to deal with this one dude. I gotta look up this actor's name. This guy's a giant. Like, he makes Andre look like really friendly. Like, he could probably do like the Princess Bride and like replace him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just like, wow, you're huge. And the camera angles they showed of this dude like just made him look even bigger. Like, I'm just like, where did they find you? Like, like, where's your land of people? Because there's some stuff I can't reach in the top cabinets when I'm inside Kmart. Like, there are things I cannot reach. I need you in my life. We need to be friends. Like neighbors preferably. Like if I could just like rent a tall person, that'd be great. The first fight scene, it's so intense. You are there in that fight scene. And John is not only just fighting for his life, it's a different kind of fight style, and that's and this goes for any character, right? So some characters that are obviously trying to kill him for the sake of money because now he's been excommunicated, he's screwed himself over, and there are people who are fighting for money. There are people who fight for love. Some people can understand this concept, some people can't. When you are genuinely fighting for your life, you have a different way you're doing it because it's your survival mode. He is just doing it because he is surviving and pissed off. Like, you done killed his dog, you wouldn't let him leave, he asked really nicely, things keep going sideways, and now you're out to kill him and he's like, man, I probably shouldn't have killed that last dude. Let me go apologize. Like that is basically like, you know, what leads to his like style of fighting, and you can see it in the character. Like, it's very much alive. All of the fight scenes, all of the breaks, the locks, everything that was in there was so on point, and then the sound to it, like, I felt like when I walked out of the theater, I had seen a chiropractor. Like, I was just like, oh man, ooh, my back feels damn good. Like, that's how it felt like watching that movie. It was, the fight choreography, you did a phenomenal job on that, and of course the sound engineers for like really sitting there working it out, making it that much more realistic when you're watching. I even noticed in one of the fight scenes, and I'm not sure if it's because I've done like my little small like little action films, so I've done like little stuff here where you have to do your own stunts and you're kind of like working with the team. I saw like the little cheek glances that I would recognize for like going, okay, be careful when throwing so-and-so needs to be here so people don't get hurt. Because the scenes that they were doing, that had to have been really hard, and I'm pretty sure you had to do it spot on, you know, the first time or by the second time, because if you did it the third time, somebody was gonna lose something. That was absolutely what was super awesome about it. And of course, let me see what else. The cinematography, like I said, was pretty cool. I also enjoyed watching like the first 30 minutes of like recognizing every part of New York City. Like, it was cute that you guys made like the postal service look like, you know, New York Public Library, which they're not even nowhere near each other, and like how Chinatown is all on one street, which is funny because the block that you were on is actually the same block where I bought my prom dress from. And then I loved how you guys were like hanging around Beaver by Wall Street downtown in the financial district, and I was like, oh, I know that spot. That's not that restaurant. Oh, that's cute. They changed the awning. It was really weird. It's like a real New Yorker movie. You're like, I know that block. It was really great. So when you guys were like going around, I was like, oh, look at this, so cute. But I'm serious, like that was for me like the New York City, like, you know, New Yorker and me going, that's my spot. So things that I want to talk about, things that I loved and enjoyed. So I had no idea Halle Berry was actually in this film. I had no clue. And when I saw her come across screen, it was weird because she kind of like looked like my mom. Like, she had like a yellow tone and blonde hair, and I was like, mommy? Like, I got all confused. Put the phone down, Mom, don't call me. But seriously, I didn't recognize Halle, and I was just like, is that her? Is that her? Like, she looks so drastically different. And I feel like she really upped her acting game. I really felt like she did. And her introduction was super awesome. I'm working very hard not to put spoilers. However, I'm giving the warning, no. Spoilers in the titles, in the description, spoilers. Just in case. There are certain things that I want to talk about without giving away everything in the film, but there are certain things that I really truly enjoyed about the film. Now, I love video games. This film is a video game from start to finish. Do not change anything. Make it into a video game. Do not change a thing. Halle Berry, her whole like, I guess, assassinating like crew was the coolest part that I loved the most, because the way they shot everything, it looked straight out of a video game. Like, it really did. And for me, that's like a bonus plus for me, because who doesn't love shooter games? Anyone? Terminator, arcades? Yeah. When she was in trouble, she had, okay, by the way, that character is an inspiration how all dog owners should have their dogs well trained. Like, when you say sit, when you say come here, and when you say I need help, your dog needs to come do it. I'm just saying, that is the best dog training ever. Whoever is the owner of those dogs, great job. Her character actually had the assistance of the dogs, and I thought that was kind of cool because everything was like on point, the way the dogs were like reacting, and I thought it was cute. I thought it was really cute. I was like, oh, that's hot. Like, when she needs help here, or the dogs knew like, oh, owner's in danger, you know, and they just like jumped in. I thought it was funny because she had a bit of a John Wick moment herself, and they kind of like, you know, made fun of that in there, which I thought was like really awesome. So kudos to Halle Berry. They really gave her a lot of wonderful screen time. I thought maybe like once I realized it was her, they'd be like, hi, I'm Halle Berry, and then she would just like pop out. Like, I thought that's what was gonna happen. This definitely makes up for everything that happened with Storm. Like, I'm completely back in love with you again. Like, you and I are now gonna be together as one. But that was one of the things that I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed watching her fight, taking out, you know, all of these other characters, and seeing how her dogs were like all a part of the scenes. Like, the way they did everything, it was beautiful. The way the dogs knew when to come in to attack, and she was calling them, then they run, they shoot up a car, and then the dogs know to jump into the opposing car to attack the people who's going to attack their owner, and then turn around, she's like, hiya, and like they get into the car like, bloop, okay, if we're going for the ride. Like, that I thought was hot, and I was like, yo, I gotta get 2 dogs like that. Just like I run through. I mean, like, she put Lara Croft to shame. Like, I don't mean Angelina Jolie, I mean straight up the character. Like, that was like the absolute best. Halle Berry, that was phenomenal. You did a great job at that. I really truly enjoyed your action sequence in there. And I also like the fight choreography that they had your character doing as well. I'm not sure if you did the stunts or not, or if it was just a stunt double. Either way, I don't care. Both people, everyone did great. That I thought was like a lot of fun, and it allowed you to enjoy. Because at one point you're like, "Where's John? Where's John?" Not like Skynet John, but like John Wick. As you're watching, you really get a good dose of like Halle Berry just running around, just kicking ass, and I think that was absolutely phenomenal. That was the best part. At least for me, that was one of my favorite parts. I was like, this is dope, and I really love the dog scene. I really enjoy that because that was straight up like the best. One of the things that I also enjoyed about the film was the elements of comedy that they managed to put in there. So a lot of times, like, there are some films that, you know, they're trying to be too action and you can't take it seriously. Then there are some films that are being too horror and you can't take it seriously. There's a certain element of writing as well as a combination of directing and acting and allowing the actors to do their job and bring something to life. There is a level of when you're doing something too seriously because you're trying to be too serious, and then like the Joker appears and like, why so serious? You know, that kind of thing. When that sort of comes across in your films, it's hard. It removes the viewer from the film. And with this, I was heavily engrossed. I was emotionally invested in the film. I was there in those fights. Like, I felt like I was in it with John Wick. Ha! 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 Like, I was in there. Same thing with Halle Berry. Her fight sequences, which I don't recall seeing her do often too many of them. I'm kind of used to seeing Halle Berry usually like in a Gothica kind of like scenario. Not that Monster Ball wasn't like, you know, super badass, but, you know, nonetheless, like, this was a very different form of acting and then level of skill set to see from Halle, which I thought was absolutely phenomenal. And yet still having all that and then sprinkling the elements of comedy in there was just like perfect, you know, especially when she's like, they shot my dog, like, and he's like, I get it. That's like, I was in tears cracking up. The fight scenes were actually pretty funny. So one thing to know about the fight scenes, they're not just like, ha, bang, 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 I got him. Like, that's not what's happening here. These fight scenes are so in-depth that you're seeing what happens. Like, a dude gets a knife in his eye and you have to like watch it like almost in slow motion to the point that you're like, ah, ah, ah. Oh, it's not me. All right, cool, we're good. Like, it was that kind of, it was that kind of thing. Stop staring at my fake tie, okay? I see you looking at it. And so the fight scenes were like intense and also comical. Like, one of my favorite fight scenes besides the ones with the dogs is actually the one in the very beginning. It's the second fight scene that follows after the giant. Man, that dude was big. I gotta like look up how like huge he is because he looked like he must be like, well, at least 12 feet. One of the scenes is like they realize they're in like a weapon store and there's like, and it happens at the same time. I know I'm jumping around. I apologize for that. So John Wick and the fighting antagonist is right across from him, and they're like, and then he looks behind him to realize there are knives. He looks behind John to realize there are knives, and they're both like, and then they like realize they're like, you know, accessible weapons to kill each other. And the knife throwing back and forth at each other was intense between different guys coming in, hitting it, and then he's throwing this, and then they move into the hatchets. Like, it got so intense that you were on the edge of your seat, because I know I was. In my recliner chair, I was very much on the edge. Like, thank you, Mezco. And they still managed to make it funny and then get really serious real quick, because you're like, haha, oh my god, that's what I give it to doing. Oh, whoa. Okay. Like, like, it was like intense. Like, you felt so much emotion watching that film. I felt emotional. I actually felt really emotional watching this film, and I was all in there. The film is a lot of fun. So if you haven't seen the first one or the second one, don't worry, you'll catch up in the third one. However, I do recommend watching the first one and the second one anyway, just for the sake of just watching it and having so much fun. I feel like the first one, they made a good film. It was a lot of fun, but then they didn't anticipate for it to be like as successful as it really became. And then the second one, they're like, okay, we'll make a second one. And then the third one, they're like, no, we gotta make this perfect. The continuity in there was on point, because at one point someone loses a limb, and they managed to keep that up throughout the rest of the film, as well as continuing it for the fight scenes. Like, everyone was paying attention on set, and I love that. I absolutely love that, guys. You have no idea. Or maybe you do for if you're watching this video because you're like, wow, she really likes it. Keanu Reeves, oh my god. I'm so glad you used my friend Dan as a stunt double. We actually call him our Keanu Reeves.
Really, Cadma?
I'm sorry, Dan, I couldn't help it. He's never gonna give me another video ever again. Hi, Dan. Hi. But to be fair, Jem's laughing too. I'm sorry, I'm making like side jokes to the people who are never gonna see this, like, that's not funny, but it is. Keanu Reeves, oh my god, you were like phenomenal in this, and it's like, it's so great to see you like running around the way you were. You kept up every like little thing. You've always been like, you know, there, and I hear you're such an amazing person. If you ever see me, memorize his face. Know that I am Cadma from Bitten Apple TV, and I would love to interview you. Not just on John Wick, but on, like, on a ton of other different things. You are phenomenal. I like to interview everyone on set, but I know you're in, like, New York City, and it's a little bit easier to get a hold of you, Keanu. That's all I'm saying. They really took their time to really make sure that this movie was actually really excellent. So one of the things I do want to talk about is John Wick. Spoiler! In case you didn't realize, is the fact that John realized he needs to amend what he's done. You know, he broke the rules on continental ground. Like, things are getting serious, and he knows he needs to fix this. So the easiest way to fix this is not to talk to upper management, but to, like, you know, like the CEO, like the owner of the coop, you know, that kind of thing. The people who are above management, you know, like there's your manager, then it's like your super manager, and then you're like, fuck that, I'm just gonna go over here. Like, that's basically what his entire journey becomes, and he goes back to call all the people who actually owe him, which was super cool. Now, for the Russian woman that, you know, that owed him, she's like Jadani. I love her. Oh my god, if I saw this actress in real life, I seriously think she's part of the mafia. Like, she was amazing, and I loved how they showed, quote unquote, her home, how it actually really was, and how she sort of like ran things. They also showed the intensity of ballet. So when you're a dedicated ballet dancer, yeah, you look pretty, people see all the glamorous stuff, but what people actually don't realize is that when you're in ballet, this is what happens in dance class. You mess up, you do it again. You mess up, you do it again. You mess up, you do it again. You mess up, you do it again, and again, and again. And when you finally perfect it, you do it again. It's just part of, like, the dancing culture, and you saw how intense and how bad it can get for a ballerina just to put on a perfect performance. That's what I thought was, like, super cool, especially like when the girl took off her toenail. Ooh, gonna have nightmares for that one, but it's worth it. That I thought was absolutely, like, that was super cool. You start to learn a little bit more about John's past as well in this film, and you start to kind of understand, like, why he has, like, these little blood tokens and these markers that he's keeping. You're starting to understand where all this is really kind of coming around full circle. Lawrence Fishburne, he was, like, super awesome. Funny fact, one of my uncle actually looks like him and is just as big as him, if he's not bigger. I have, like, one uncle who's, like, the size of a giant, but not as big as that first guy that John Wick had fought in part 3 here. Lawrence Fishburne. Lawrence, you were funny. I really enjoyed you, and I loved your line when you're like, sometimes you gotta cut him for, like, that was great. That was absolutely great. 7 days, right? 7 days, man. That's gonna, like, haunt everyone from Ju-on to, like, John Wick. And once you see the movie, you'll get it. But I'm trying my best not to give away everything. But I really, truly did enjoy the fact that they decided that for those who were gonna help John needed to be punished as well. It's kind of like sending someone under death wish. You're like, he's not gonna make it, and then realizing he survives, and then everyone comes back for you, like, hey, you helped him. Like, I didn't even think he was gonna live, man. Like, what's your problem? It's a lot of fun how they choose to tell the story and piece everything together. The people that they screw over, and it was really a lot of fun. Now, they introduced this new homegirl, right? I love the way she looked, casting wise. Her voice just caught me off guard. Not that she did a terrible job. She didn't. I just expected, like, a deeper voice, and her voice was just like an octave higher than what I was expecting when she's like, Mr. John Wick, and I was just like, oh, okay. Because I was, like, expecting, like, a Michelle Rodriguez kind of voice that coming out, like, John Wick, and you're like, oh, shoot. She's serious. I was actually waiting for her to fight, because she's, like, the ultimate, like, hierarchy of, you know, of the of the high table, and she's basically doing a heavy investigation, wanting to know how is John Wick able to kill this dude, and nobody has yet to kill him. And as she's going around town and investigating everyone, she just had a voice that was like an octave higher than what I was expecting. It was like, oh, okay. Like, it took me a minute because she looked so fierce. You're like, yo, she's psychotic. Like, I can see the Harley Quinn in her, like that kind of vibe. And I thought it was interesting because I'm like, I'm expecting like a major fight between her and then like my friend who's a stunt double, Dan.
Really, Cadma?
Sorry. It's an inside joke for all the Appletinis, and then as you become an Applebite, you start to learn all the jokes we have. And I was kind of expecting more, but I'm assuming they're going to be saving that for a later film, which has to be 4. So that's one thing I could definitely tell you. There will be a part 4, and I think I've Ralph was telling me something like, as long as the fans are enjoying it, they're more willing to, like, you know, make another film. And I think you guys need to get on the ball for number 4 if you're looking for actors who can fight. Petite female. It was a really phenomenal movie. It was worth every second of my life, and I have to say this is gonna have to go into like my top 10 films, especially if you're gonna pick a movie that like has like a set. And often with films, like the first one can be great, the second one can be decent, and then like by the third film, usually by then most films tend to kind of like fall off the wagon. And I can tell that they were not going to allow this to happen with this film. That was not gonna happen at all. The ending is almost kind of surprising, but not too surprising because it just happens so quickly and you're like, oh, whoa, what? Oh, that's messed up. So when it happens, you're just sort of like taken back. So I don't want to give away that, you know, except for the fact that Tony Stark dies in the end. It was really crazy how that happened. And so with the film, I definitely would recommend it like 6 out of 5 Cadmas. If you truly enjoy action films, if you love the John Wick series, if you love Keanu Reeves, you love Halle Berry, you want to see her whipping some behind, I definitely would recommend watching this film. I've never had so much fun, like genuinely sitting there watching a film and being truly emotionally invested into this. There's one particular line that I was very fond of. So John Wick has to go back and kill his friend, right? Even though he excommunicated him. Alright, we get it. However, when he's sort of like fighting with the high table and they're like, you think you can negotiate? He's like, you don't understand how this works. Like, you guys may be the high table, but like, you know, I've been doing this for 40 years. And he has like this sort of like quick speech of how he's been doing this for 40 years. And his pockets run a little bit deeper than what they may have come to realize. And the woman, like, she like kind of like challenges him, like, you do realize these orders are coming from like the high table? And he's like, yeah, but this is New York City. And I'm like, bam, yes it is, ha ha. There were some little, I guess, kind of scary elements to a sense in the film. So for those who do not live in New York City, they may not realize that because of how packed the city is, things can happen to people very quickly. So they do these public killing scenes that can happen, and it has unfortunately happened to people in the street, maybe not in the exact same way that they're doing it, but it has happened. I mean, I personally actually seen a couple of people actually die out on the sidewalk, and it just takes one person to just stop and realize someone up there is coughing up blood. I mean, just the other week ago, a woman who was just normally dressed with her groceries, you can tell someone had came up behind her and knocked the crap out of her with something, and all of her groceries were like kind of on the floor, but she had been out there in broad daylight. When I was coming up on her, it was weird because I saw people pass her and then not even look down. And it's weird because when I saw those scenes, it's almost scary for like a second, but then again at the same time for New York City, unfortunately, it's like, oh, that's Monday. You know what I mean? Like, it has that weird, like, little dark element to it, but not dark enough that it made you depressed or scared. It just made you recognize, yeah, that's my home. If you're not from New York City, you'd be like, that doesn't happen. It can. We're scary, we're friendly, but we love you guys. We're just a little self-absorbed. That's part of the problem. And we're not all mean, and we all don't talk like, you know, like, forget about it. We all don't do that. But we will tell you, hey, I'm walking here. So if you decide, I don't know if I'm gonna see it, go see it. Like, don't even question it. In fact, don't even question me. Okay, otherwise I will send John Wick after you. Go watch this film. This movie is a lot of fun. it's actually it's up there. I'd have to definitely say it's up there. I don't think there's anything else in particular that I wanted to focus on in regards to that film, but if I ever get a moment to like really sit down and interview the director, Keanu, because I know you're in New York. I would love to just interview someone and just kind of talk about the elements of every aspect of this film, and of course other things as well, just because I enjoy the conversation. And yo, casting directors, hello, action chick, love to fight, have my reel ready, contact my agent Anastasia. Now I'm saying that, but I'm being serious. But it was probably the best hours of my life that I truly sat there and enjoyed a film, and I'm looking forward to when it is out officially, and then I can go back and see it again. I'm actually willing to pay that $20-$25 ticket to go see this movie again. I definitely would recommend that. This is 6 out of 5 Cadmas. In fact, 10 out of 5 Cadmas, just because I love it so much. I don't think there's anything else that I would love to discuss. Also, congratulations, Dan, on making your stunt double review, with Keanu Reeves. That must have been really great working next to him, considering the fact that you're like our Keanu Reeves of the group. It's great. We're so fab. So proud of you. What? Okay, all jokes aside, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I hope you're going out to go see that film. Make sure you go see that film and tell me, please tell me, what do you think? What do you want to know about the film? What are you hoping to see? And also let me know, how are my movie reviews? Tell me about how everything's coming along. Do you think I tell too much? Do you think I don't tell enough? Do you think I talk too much? I don't care what you say. Just let me know what you think. I just need to know what your thoughts are. Once you go see the film, please tell me what you think about it. And if you're one of the few people who got to see it before it's released next week, yo, come talk to me about it in the comment section, because I am there. And John Wick out! Whoop whoop! You like my bootleg tie? Yeah, I know, sexy day. Sexy.